All right, so we're going to be talking about the financial integrity and business conduct. This is week 5. Um, I don't know, Kenyatta, do you want me to just to dive right in? Do you have a preference? Okay, cool beans, cool beans. Okay, so the focus of this week is to make sure that we are identifying good business habit that um, identify business habits that compromise financial character. Then we also want to um, talk about side hustles versus sustainable business models, and then credit and character. I am going to discuss how credit reflects not just your scores, but also trust. And then I also have 10 points that I'm going to review and give you practical ways that you can implement these yourself. Or if you choose to hire a professional, at least you will know the road and what the process and the road to take for that. So um, first want to start off just by thanking Dr. Rashida and you, Kenyatta, just for giving me the opportunity, to put this information out there. I love what you guys have going on, and it's just an honor to be a part of that. Um, from my understanding, Dr. Rashida does want this to be taken from the book of Proverbs, and I think that is a good starting point for that, because Proverbs 27:23 does talks about be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks and look well to thy herds. So that talks about that basically is a reference to knowing what's on your credit report. And that is the first steps to actually working on your credit, because you can't fix what you don't know. So it is important that you do pull your credit report, not just one or two bureaus. You want to make sure that you're pulling all three bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. There are free ways that you're able to pull your credit profile, and yourcreditreport.com is a credit is a free way that you can pull it. It does not affect your personal credit score. You can also use a lot of people use Credit Karma. Credit Karma only gives you two of the three bureaus. Uh, it's not one that I personally like to use, but it is definitely a source where you can monitor your credit. But annualcreditreport.com is something that is available for you. So you want to start with pulling your credit so that you know what's on your credit report. And when we talk about your credit report being not just a score, I want to share something with you guys really quick. Share my screen. So, guys, when we talk about your credit report, it is essentially your financial report card as to how creditors see you. So, you know, we know that every credit profile in America does start with a 300, and it can go as high as a 850. So as consumers, we have about 550 points that we're able to build in between that 300 and that 850. So it is important that we understand the things that goes into building credit, because it is a financial report card. And just like when we was in school, the higher our GPA, so the higher our credit score, the better it looks to the consumers and the lenders. So let me stop this share here. So, ooh, I'm not very technical with this. All right, so the next point that, so I'm trying to stop this share. Thank you. So the next point that you want to do after you pull your credit and you're seeing what's on your credit, you want to then start looking for accuracies, but also inaccuracies, because the inaccuracies are the things that you want to have removed immediately. You want to not just look for errors, like accounts that you didn't open, or duplicate entries, incorrect late payments, but you also want to look for different name variances. You also want to look for if they have previous addresses on your credit profile. You also want to look to see if they have some people, if you are a junior and a senior, or if you're a third, sometimes they may have your sons or your father, names intertwined with yours. I've also seen on credit profiles with couples where they have a variation of the husband and the wife name combined on one profile. And all of those inaccuracies does make a difference and play into your credit profile, because the thing is this: consistency matters in credit. Okay. I'm trying to share the screen. Consistency matters. Consistency matters in credit. And the name that's on your driver's license, that's the name that you want to appear on your credit profile. Old names, old addresses and incorrect addresses on your credit profile, you want to have those removed for several reasons. One, it could be associated with old debt, and you don't want to have that. But more importantly, those name and address variances, as I'm going to show you on this screen right here, if I can get my share again, those name and address variances, they're not they're not accurate. And as it relates to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, it states that the credit bureaus are supposed to report fair and accurate information. Also, they are responsible for reporting the relevancy of the information. So when you have old addresses and name variances on your credit report, the banks, this is what it looks like. It doesn't matter if you own the home, if it was a rented home, if it was a family home. Those addresses makes you look like a risk factor, because the banks say, "Oh, she lived here, she lived there, she lived everywhere," and so it's like a risk factor for the banks when creditors look at you for credit factor. So you want to check for accuracies in your credit report, and you want to have those things removed from your credit report. So point three, oh, before I move on to point three, when you're having these things removed from your credit report, the best way to have those things removed is via certified mail. You want to send in letters to the bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, if it appears on all three. Sometimes some accounts may only be on two or one of the three, but you want to send in those letters and you want to send it in certified mail. The reason why you want to send it in certified mail is because it can be tracked. The reason why you want it to be tracked is because as consumers, you have rights, as you can see right here on the screen. The Fair Credit Reporting Act, it's a law that was passed by Congress in 1970, and this was put in place to protect consumers. So when you're sending in your letters, you want to send those in certified so that you can track them. Because if you need to go to the next level and file a complaint and or a lawsuit against the bureau, then you want to have documentation and proof that the letter was sent out. There is online methods that you can use to dispute it, and professionally, I don't recommend it, but it is available to you. And the reason why I don't recommend doing the online method is because as a consumer, when you do the online method, you do waive some of your consumer rights under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Is in that little small print that they count on us not to read online. So again, there is online ways that you can do the dispute, but it's recommended that you do your disputes via mail, certified copies, so that you have proof of the tracking that was sent in. So point three is you want to focus on paying down your credit card balances, and you want to be strategic with that. So guys, what I want you to understand is that there are actually five components to building your credit, and your payment history is the largest component of that, okay? So, although you want to focus on making your payments because your payment history makes up 35% of your credit score, utilization makes up 30% of your credit score. And it gets to a point when you're working on and building your credit where utilization begins to control your score. So if I can just bring your attention to the slide on the screen, payment history makes up 35%. You're able to get 192 and a half points for in the payment history category. Utilization, how you use your bills and how you pay down on your bills, all of that factors into utilization. The higher your utilization, the lower your credit score. So you want to make sure that you keep your utilization under 30%, and it makes up 30% of your credit score. You're able to get about 165 points up in the credit utilization. So as you can see, payment history and credit utilization makes up over half of your credit score. So even though these are not the only two components of the five components of credit, they are the two important, because as you can see, it makes up over half of your credit score. And then you have your credit history, which we're going to talk about shortly. New credit and credit mix that makes up 15 and 10% each of your credit score. So guys, when we're talking about credit utilization, again, you want to keep your balances under 30% of your credit limit. But as you'll see, the higher your score began to rise, like when you get up into the higher 780s, 790s, and over into the 800s, you actually have to begin to even trickle down even lower in that utilization category. You know, you have to keep it at a 22%, and then, you know, a 12%. And sometimes, you know, again, depending on how much utilization you have. You know, you may even have to go a little lower than that, but that all comes with the discipline and building your credit profile. The rule of thumbs is you want to keep it up under the 30%. Point number 4, you don't want to close old accounts. And the reason being, as you can see, credit age, how long you had your accounts on your credit, it makes up 15% of your credit score. About 82 and a half points you're able to get up in there. So even if you're not using your card, you don't want to close it. What you want to do instead is find strategic ways to have low utilization on that card. What I tell clients a lot of times is if you have a credit card, because a lot of times some clients will have credit cards that um, maybe have high program rates or high interest rates, so they're trying not to use it. Pick a bill, your smallest bill. Have it go onto that credit card every month. Okay, your Hulu bill, your Amazon Prime bill, your cell phone bill. You know, a small bill in your home, and put it on that credit card bill every month so that you have constant utilization on the credit card. And then when the bill is due, you're paying that onto the credit card. You're putting the bill on auto pay on the credit card, and then you're paying that credit card every month. That way, the company don't close the account because you're not utilizing it. Because that can happen as well. If you don't use your accounts, the creditor at their discretion can decide to close the account for inactivity. So you want to be careful and mindful of that as well. Again, because payment history is the largest part of um, the components of credit, you want to make sure that you pay your bills on time every time. There's a scripture, Proverbs 37:21, that says, "The wicked borroweth and payeth not again." So when we are as we are relating that to our credit, we want to understand that if we can't afford to pay that bill when the card comes, maybe we shouldn't be making that purchase on the card. And again, that takes financial discipline. Late payments can stay on your credit report for up to 7 years. But more importantly, late payments can affect your credit score. Late payments can affect your credit score and lower it by up to 60 to 80 points. Multiple late payments can lower your credit score by up to 110 points. So you want to make sure that you pay your bills on time every time. A good thing to keep in mind too when you're making payments is because if you are a person that already always pay their bills on time forever and ever, amen, and you want to use the payment hack in order to get more payments, I'm sorry, in order to get more points in that credit category. For instance, if you have a credit card bill that you receive on the 5th of the month, and you're going to pay $100 on that credit card bill. What you want to do is when you receive that credit card bill, you want to take that $100 and you want to split it into two payments. You want to pay half of it 3 days after you get the bill, and then you want to pay the other half 3 days before the due date. The reason being is because that kind of tricks the system into thinking you're making two payments. And you did. What you did was you just took that one payment and you split it in half. And so the system looks at it as two payments. And the best way to do that is make sure that first half of your payment is at least the minimum payment that's due. And then the second half, at that point, now whatever you're paying is going on to the interest. If you're only making the minimum due, because I understand, sometimes life get the life in, and we can only make the minimum due. So if you're only paying the minimum due, then you want to split it, equally in half and make those payments, because again, that's going to give you extra points in the payment history area. So pay your bills on time every time. Point number 6 is you want to negotiate and try to settle old debts wisely. Now, guys, I want you to understand that there's multiple ways that this can be done. Um, one of the ways that a lot of creditors will work with you is on a pay for delete agreement. You want to make sure that if you go into a pay for delete agreement, you get it in writing before you make the payment. And then 2, you make sure that they agree to remove the account once the payment has been satisfied. Because a lot of times that's the second part that a lot of people miss on the pay for delete. They get the pay for delete agreement, and it's saying, okay, if you pay this, it will be removed. I'm sorry, if you pay this, it will settle the debt, but it's not including the part that it will be removed from there. And that's key on those pay for deletes. Another thing when you're negotiating to settle old debts is you never pay a charge off account. Once an account goes into a charged off status, that means that account has that creditor has taken a cancellation of debt, and the original creditor can no longer legally can collect from you. The third party collector that's coming after you, according to the Fair Credit and Reporting Act, you don't owe that third party collector. You owe the person who the original agreement was with. So keep in mind that as it comes to charge off and collections account, you do not pay charge off and collections account. There is a statute. It's here, right here on the screen. I wanted to pull it up so that you guys can see it. There's a statute under the Fair Credit and Reporting Act that states that original creditors can't collect after charge off. And again, the reason behind that is because they've taken that cancellation of debt. So charge-offs account, when you see them on your credit report, and a lot of time, guys, if you look at what it's saying on the credit report, it states written off as bad debt. So if they've written it off on as bad debt, who are you paying? So when you go to negotiate and settle these old debts, you want to make sure that you be wise in that, and that you're not paying charge-offs and collections. Okay. Third party collectors, they have limited rights, and they are prohibited from misrepresenting debt or even threatening to sue on expired debts, because they will, they'll call, like, we're going to take this matter to court. And a lot of times they don't even have the right and the ability to collect in your state. So that's another thing. You want to make sure that the person that's trying to collect even has the right to collect in your state. The best way to handle a creditor or collection call when they call you is to just tell them, I don't know who you are, what you're talking about. Put the information you have in the mail to the address you have on file. Cease and desist these calls. And legally, they cannot call you anymore. Don't verify your address to them. Let them mail the information to whatever they have on file. But if you're getting charged collection calls and charge off calls, the best way to stop those is to recite that cease and desist script there. So point number 7, and it is also part of the 5 components to credit, is you want to be open to having new credit, because new credit does make up 10% of your credit score, but you want to build it wisely. Okay, you want to make sure that you limit new inquiries, because inquiries there's 2 types of inquiries: a hard inquiry and a soft inquiry. A soft inquiry does not affect your credit score, but a hard inquiry does. Inquiries can bring your credit score down anywhere from 3 to 6 points. So you want to make sure that you're limiting new credit inquiries. You're building new credit responsibly. Sometimes when you go to start to build new credit, you may have to start off with a secure card. I did. My credit was so bad, change was so strange. When I was building up my credit, I had to start off with a secure credit card. One thing you want to look at with a secure credit card is, when does it graduate? The best banks to start secure credit card with is actually credit unions. If you're not a part of a credit union, you can see if your bank offers a secure credit card. There's also credit builder loans out there that you can get kickoff of things like that. Be careful and mindful with those. They are out there. I know they advertise them. The thing is this: those loans are designed to help you build credit, but if you miss or get behind one payment with those type of loans, it really tanks your score, because of that it is a credit builder type of loan. So usually when people are getting those types of loans on their credit profile, they usually have, a deficit in either revolving and installment accounts, and you need a combination of two, because that is part of your credit mix. So if you have a revolving account that reports a late or a no payment on your credit profile, a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day late on your credit profile, that's going to drastically affect your credit score. So be careful with the credit builder loans, but they are available for building new credit. Um, Point number 9, you want to track your score monthly. As I stated earlier, there are free tools like Credit Karma that you can use. There's also apps like Smart Credit, My FICO 9. Those are not free, but though you can get them for a low monthly cost as well, if you're trying to get all 3 of your credit scores in one place. Credit Karma, as I stated earlier, only gives you 2 of the 3. I think it gives you TransUnion and Equifax, but it does not give you Experian. But apps like Smart Credit, My FICO, you can get all 3, but there is a monetary cost for those. I believe with my FICO though, there is a free version of that, but I think you only get 2 of the bureaus, not the 3. So you want to track your scores monthly, and then finally, you want to pray, plan, and persevere. Romans 12:11 says, be not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, and serving the Lord. So we want to keep in mind that credit repair is a process. You know, we want to be diligent, faithful, and intentional because it does reflect stewardship and discipline. Like I said earlier, you know, is our credit report card to lenders. So I do want to put a pin in it there and see if you guys have any questions, and then I can also leave my information for you guys who may be interested in additional information. So, and thank you once again, Kenyatta, for having me.
Of course, Miss Tanya. I have a question. If they stop if they close your card, that works negative against you?
Yes. Anytime an account is closed, it hurts your credit score because it's hurting the age part of the credit score. When that account closed, that 15% that that makes up your credit age is affecting that component there, right here. It's gonna affect that. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Because
okay.
you're losing the age off your from that credit. So if that card was open in 2013, now and you're closing it in 2025, you just lengthen and you don't have another card, you know, that goes back to 2013. Let's say your next card, you know, starts at 2014 or you know, or 2018 or whatever. You've shortened your credit age by that credit profile, and then you've also reduced your credit utilization. So that's why your credit, it negatively affects your credit profile because you're losing points in the utilization area here, and then also the age area here. Great question.
Okay.
Okay,
Mm,
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
This Louise, the life coach.
Hey,
Good
Queen.
evening, everybody. Also, so I know you mentioned about like new credit, not being afraid of new credit, but that impacts your credit history as well, doesn't it? Like
So,
when you
um,
open a new one, it because I notice mine, it just be changing. Can you
so
elaborate or explain how that works?
Absolutely. So when you open up new credit, yes, anytime you start new credit because the inquiry, because most new credit has to start with a hard inquiry. So you're gonna lose some points there because again that inquiry is gonna drop you, you know, 3 to 6 points, you know, give or take depending on where you are in your credit profile. But you gain those points and then more back within 60 to 90 days because credit works in a 30-day cycle. So when you first open up the credit report, you may notice, I'm sorry, the new credit, you may notice it dropped a few points. But then within 60 to 90 days, when that credit utilization pops on there, and now you are also are getting credit for the new credit side of it. If you were someone that just had revolving credit, like maybe a car note or student loans on there, and it's your first credit card. Now you add it to your credit mix. But most times, the new credit and the credit utilization is going to give you more additional points within that 60 to 90 day mark. So you'll see it go down when you open up that new account. But if you have the payment history and the utilization within 60 to 90 days, you will see your credit score increase as well from opening up that new credit.
No, I was asking more so it affects your credit history. So it'll say like the average length of your credit, it goes down.
Well, no, it doesn't affect you opening up a new credit. It doesn't affect the credit history negatively. It just because you're adding new credit to it. And then as the months go on, you know, you're getting that credit age on there. but it doesn't negatively affect it. You're seeing, if you're saying that you're seeing like points go down, you're seeing that little decrease
No,
because
not points. I'm saying, so if it said my credit card was my credit history was 25 years, then I open a card, it'll be your averages, it'll be less than that.
okay, so are you going off of a monitoring site? Because some monitoring sites use the Vantage scoring system, and the Vantage scoring system is going to do what's called an overall. So if you're using like smart credit or like a credit karma, they use Vantage scoring system. And so it may be taken an overall. But that's something if you want to go one-on-one, maybe be one-on-one, I can look that over with you. That's no problem.
Okay. But you saying it's not negative, so
No, it
I'm
doesn't.
fine.
Opening up new credit is not negatively impacting your credit profile at all. Now, if you're opening up irresponsibly, like, trying to open up new credit and you're getting declined for it, those inquiries are going to negatively impact it. But opening up new credit responsibly does not negatively impact your credit profile. Do we have any more questions?
I have a question. Um, I don't even know how to start, but I'm a small business owner, so I have personal credit and I have business credit. And
Mhm.
back toward the November of last year, I got into a bad car accident, and one of my credit cards, it was a business credit card. I wasn't able to maintain the minimum monthly payments because I was dealing with the accident and all that stuff. So I noticed last month, I tried to work out payment arrangements with them, but they just didn't work out. So I noticed that they placed it on my personal credit last month, and this caused my credit to really plummet. Um, it looks like it's in collections now. So my question is, when I got my settlement, I was going to pay it off, but how should I handle that now if it's in collections and it's on my personal credit?
Okay. So the reason why it's on your personal credit is because you had to have done what's called a PG, a personal guarantee,
Mm-hmm.
when you did it, and that's one of the main reasons why when we build business credit, we do kind of like shy against doing personal guarantees and have you build it with your EIN only because those things do happen. What I would recommend, because what you said you filed bankruptcy on your business.
No, I haven't filed bankruptcy. I'm still in business.
Oh, okay. So you personally filed bankruptcy.
No, I haven't filed. No, I was in a car accident and I wasn't able to maintain the payments on this credit card. Everything else is being paid okay, but I wasn't able, this one particular card, I wasn't able to maintain.
Okay, and the card has just gone into a collection. Has they charged it off, or is it
It,
just in collect?
it looks like it's been charged off. I can't, but
Okay.
on my personal credit, it looks like it went to a collection agency.
Okay, if it's in a charged off or collection status, if it's showing on your credit report, if it's saying, charged off as bad debt, then you want to have that removed, okay?
Okay,
Because you don't owe that. Charged off and collections account, I tell people all the time, never, ever, 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 never, ever pay those because again, it's been charged off. And
okay,
you see by under the statute, under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, that's why I put the statute there so you could research it
mhm,
yourself. They can't collect after charge off. And if someone is still trying to collect from you, it's more than likely a third party collection agency, and you don't owe them either. because according to the Fair Credit and the Fair Credit Reporting Act, your debt is to the original debtor,
Okay.
not any third party collection agency. So I'll put my information up, if you want to speak with me a little more closely
Okay.
about that. I definitely would recommend, that if it's in a charge off status, you don't want to pay that. And I
Okay.
do want to say this too, because there are times when accounts have been charged off or going to collections, and these third party collection companies also lawyer, different lawyer offices and stuff buy the data, not the
Mm-hmm.
debt. They're buying in the data. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. They because they're coming after them like, we're gonna take you to court, and the thing is this, you have, excuse me, as a consumer, you even have rights to come back that as well. We have gone to court with some of our clients, when creditors have tried to come after them, third party collection agencies have tried to come after them for debts that they don't owe and everything, and gotten it dismissed in court. So you will have third party collection agencies, that to try to collect from you, but understand that you have rights under the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act as well. So there's the Fair Credit Reporting Act and then the Fair Debt Practice Collection Act as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I have one more. What is the speech you said if they call to give?
Yes, great question. So you simply want to tell them that I don't know who you are, why you're calling, send the information you have to the address you have on file, cease and desist these calls. And legally, they can not call you again. And I reiterate, you do not want to verify your address with them. That's why you're telling them to send the information to the address that they have on file. Right here on the screen, this is where we went to court with one of the clients. As you guys can see, it was a big bank, JP Morgan and Chase. And they was coming after it was a law firm that was quote unquote representing JP Morgan and Chase. On the client's credit profile, it was showing as charged off by JP Morgan and Chase. And so we went to court because we did what was called a validation of debt to this creditor, this third party collector. We sent them what's called a validation of debt. And we answered the judgment to the court. This was right down here in Clayton County, I believe it was. So we went to court on, and as you guys can see on the screen, it was dismissed. So when you know your rights, you're equipped to fight and win. Great question.
Awesome, awesome. Learned some stuff. Any other questions? All right, Tanya, we thank you so much for coming in. We got some really good information, great questions from everyone. This concludes our week. I'm sorry, I got my grandbaby. Shh. This concludes our week 5 Kingdom Finance Bible study. That is Miss Tanya's information. grab it and send it. And Dr. Jackson also has a link as well that'll be sent out to you, but please grab her information. She is phenomenal at what she does, as you can tell. Aisha
Thank you,
says thank you.
thank you as well. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me, Miss Anna.
you're more
And
than welcome, Queen. Thank you. All right, you guys have a wonderful evening. Bye.
thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.